You know, something feels different, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Well, surprise everybody! Yes, Lindsay and I have moved. We have mostly settled into our new apartment and it's kind of livable now. First things first, before I get down to business, I just want to say to all of you watching this video, thank you so much. Thank you for your continued support of this channel. Thank you so much for constantly wanting to come back and talk movies with me. Because I gotta tell you, these past couple of weeks have been amongst the most challenging in my entire life. But it all feels worth it. And partially because you guys have waited so patiently for this return. And when I said I had some personal stuff going on, you guys actually got it. So that is why deep down I am so thankful to have you all be a part of this community. And if you've stumbled across this channel for the first time, if you want to keep talking movies with me down the line, hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up as well if you enjoy what you see tonight. But enough of this sappy shit. Let's talk about Dreamworks' latest achievement, The Wild Robot, which for obvious reasons, this is a late review. I got to see this with Lindsay last night, and man, I'm so happy I did. This was written and directed by Chris Sanders, who not only worked with Dreamworks on How to Train Your Dragon, but also with Disney on Lilo and Stitch all those years ago. So in terms of animation, Chris Sanders is a pretty prolific name. In the film, we follow a robot who is shipwrecked on an uninhabited island. This robot is Roz, who's voiced by the ultra-talented Lupita Nyong'o. And Roz must adapt to her new surroundings, build relationships with the local wildlife, and become the adopted mother of an orphaned goose named Brightbill, voiced by young Kit Connor. And this is actually based on a book series of the same name by Peter Brown, and I have no recollection or even any knowledge of this book series. And you know, just looking at the trailers and looking at how colorful and beautiful the animation looks, and right off the bat, this is the first pro that I have about The Wild Robot. This movie is so damn colorful. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, especially with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish hitting theaters a couple of years ago. Dreamworks has really stepped up their game when it comes to the animation department. And I don't know if I'm breaking any news when I say this, but The Wild Robot is a sight for sore eyes. I'll just leave it at that. Or better yet, if you want to go to a movie theater and support a really great family movie, if you're looking for a family outing at the movie theater, The Wild Robot just might be your ticket. Matter of fact, I think this is up there with Inside Out as the best animation you're gonna see all year long. And nobody can really tell a heartwarming, emotional family tale like Chris Sanders. This man has struck lightning once again. Because this story, I feel like, came at the right time in my life, which hits so deep in the feels. It hits so deep on so many themes of growing up, venturing out on your own, which admittedly is something I haven't really done before in my life up until about 2 weeks ago. So I think for both me and for Lindsay, this was a perfect movie to kick us off on this new phase in our life. And you get to meet so many colorful characters along the way. Lupita Nyong'o as our protagonist. She plays a really great fish out of water when it comes to her surroundings. And every character she interacts with is a very colorful and memorable creature in their own right. You have a very wise Gosling who's voiced by Bill Nighy, who you might remember as Davy Jones from the Pirates movies. There's a really fun drill sergeant Eagle who's voiced by Ving Rhames, and he's really great in this. Catherine O'Hara plays a mother possum, and she has 7 children, which turns into 6 very abruptly from a mauling by a bear voiced by Mark Hamill, who, I'll be honest, until the credits rolled, never would have guessed that was Mark Hamill. I think that just goes to show you that, again, that man's talent unmatched when it comes to voice acting. Mark Hamill is not just known for Star Wars, guys. He's a damn good voice actor. And that brings me to my next thing. This is probably the most subtly dark Dreamworks movie when it comes to its humor, because it is throwing so many adult-level jokes at you left and right. And Lindsay and I were just laughing at this movie. We were shocked in some cases that they actually had the balls to write that. But that's Dreamworks for you, man. This is a pattern and a trope that dates all the way back to 2001 when they put Shrek out, which in a lot of people's eyes is still a cinematic masterpiece. And this movie, I think, continues on the darkness trend. Again, the jokes in this movie, they are relentless, they are repeated, and for the most part, they all hit. I also have to give a big shout out to young Kit Connor as Brightbill. This young man really steps up to the task. He has great chemistry with Lupita and Nyong'o, and it's such an emotionally powerful relationship that they have in this. And surprisingly enough, one of the hearts of this movie is a fox voiced by Pedro Pascal, otherwise known as the busiest man in Hollywood right now. And like Mark Hamill, I had no idea that was Pedro Pascal until the credits started rolling. He was damn good in this movie. But you kind of get where I'm going with this. The characters are all so well realized. The animation honestly takes a lot of inspiration from Miyazaki movies. Just like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish did a couple years ago, the hand-painted aesthetic looks so breathtaking. Everything, right down to the designs of the characters, the colors, the backgrounds. It honestly looks like a movie that should be restored in a museum somewhere. This artistic style is honestly something that should be preserved until the end of time. Animation really has come a long way, especially over the last 30, 40 years or so. And it is amazing to see where it sits right now. Dreamworks is on a roll. They put out a really fun movie earlier this year in Kung Fu Panda 4. But in terms of the originality, ironically speaking, The Wild Robot might be their best original idea since How to Train Your Dragon. And that movie's coming on 15 years old. Can you believe that? It's been a long time since we got an original idea like this from DreamWorks, guys. Now, if I were to nitpick a couple little things about this, the third act, definitely feels like a good chunk of the family movies that we get in theaters nowadays. The climax definitely feels like a very basic blueprint of a family movie climax. I feel like there's a perfect button around the hour 20-minute mark where The Wild Robot, if you ended it right there, I think it would have been one of the best animated movies of all time. And I still think, give it 5 more years before you call this movie a masterpiece. That's my golden rule. But I think this movie definitely has the masterpiece potential. Just let it simmer for about 5 years before you start calling it a masterpiece, please. But yeah, it definitely felt like for a bit that the movie was kind of treading water and looking for excuses to make it longer. Now granted, the ending is a very, very good ending, and it's very heartwarming and very touching. But the journey to get there, especially towards the last 20 minutes or so, it felt very by the book. And you know what? I'll address it, not just in the look and the character design, but I can't help but compare Roz to Baymax. I really can't. And maybe she's a little bit too similar to Baymax for her own good. Granted, great character. Really, really awesome stuff here from Lupita Nyong'o especially. But when you actually have her written to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate my performance? That's a little bit too copycatting to me. But again, I'm just looking for things to nitpick. I think The Wild Robot is going to go down as one of my favorite movies of the year, if not my favorite animated movie of the year once it's all said and done. It's a toss-up between that one and Inside Out 2, man. I don't know yet. But I highly recommend seeing The Wild Robot in theaters if you haven't already. I'm going to give The Wild Robot a solid A. A movie that came out just at the right time of my life and hit me right in the feels where I needed it. And that's why we go to the movies, guys, to escape and feel the catharsis and relate to our own lives. And I love talking about all things movies with you guys. Thank you again so much for your support. One more time, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and smash that thumbs up as hard as you possibly can. Stay tuned for more videos very soon. Lindsay and I are going to go see Joker Folie à Deux tomorrow night. That movie's a bit polarizing, as I've seen. Don't think I haven't been paying attention to social media. And I will also mention, bad news is the Halloween playlist is not going to be as robust as I was planning it initially, due to obvious reasons. But fear not, there will be some sort of Halloween playlist coming up within the last couple weeks of October, and I can't wait to bring you this abridged version, albeit abridged. Thank you so much again. I'm so thrilled to be back and talking movies with you guys, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. So with all that being said, Back Talk commence!